Hey everyone, welcome once again to your Marriage Minute. My name is Dino Watt. I'm the author and CEO of The Business of Marriage. Today's subject is kind of touchy, and I just want to put it out there for you because I know this can be affecting a lot of people. I know it's affecting people right in my own neighborhood. The subject is when tragedy happens, either through you or your spouse when a death happens, or when there's tragedy in the family in other ways. I recently got a call from a friend of mine who is a doctor. He's a pediatrician, and he's putting together a class that I'm going to facilitate for him for parents who are going through an illness of a child. Now, I can't imagine anything worse going on, and I thank Heavenly Father every day that my children are fine and they haven't had any major medical issues, and I'm so grateful for that. And I know there are a lot of parents out there who are dealing with it, and I also know the effects it can have on your marriage. If it hasn't affected your marriage yet, or if you're wondering how you deal with certain tragedies, I'm going to use a business model again because I always do. In businesses, there are structures and procedures that they would go through should there be some sort of tragedy, some sort of event, even financial or one of their employees. They have a certain order of what they do because they want to make sure they're prepared for it. Now, you can never prepare for the death of a child, an illness of a child, or the death of a spouse. However, a really good barometer of understanding how you might react to that is how that person, how your spouse or yourself reacts when there's any other type of stress or concern or emergency in your life. I go back to the dating process. If you're dating someone right now, a good way to understand how they might react, obviously you're not going to know exactly how they're going to react, but how they might react, is asking them, how did they react when they had somebody else in their life who had passed away that was close to them? Whether it be a grandparent, a parent. It's a really good barometer. Did they draw closer to their family members? Did they make sure that they had a good support system around them? Or did they push everybody away? Did they just want to be on their own? Did they want to go hide in a corner? Whatever it might be, it's a really good barometer to find out how they might react if something tragic like that were to happen in your life. And those are things that are necessary to know before you get involved in a relationship with that person. Just like in business, I'm going to want to know how this potential business partner reacted to a meltdown in their last job or their last business, or how when it crumbled, if it did crumble, how he reacted. Did he go into a corner and just huddle there, or did he come back and say, all right, that was a mistake, now we're moving on? So what I want you to do is to really focus on how you would react should something like that happen. How have you reacted in the past? When it comes to something happening right now, if you're going through it right now, I would advise you, just like a good business person would do, get some really good people to surround you who've been through it before. No matter what the scale might be, you are in a situation right now where you're probably thinking nobody understands how I'm feeling, and I guarantee you, somebody else out there understands a bit of what you're doing, or at least has the empathy to understand what you're going through. So I would suggest that you surround yourself with people who are going through the same type of thing. Also, to understand that this has nothing to do with you. That's key. Remember, the number one rule in all of my trainings is you are responsible for you. So what I want you to understand is, whatever is going on right now, don't create a story, which is another marriage minute we had, about what's happening. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with that child or that person. It's not your fault. You are not responsible for this, and sometimes you just can't control it. So you got to give yourself up to that. I believe that there is something else controlling this whole universe, all of us, and that they have a higher plan. So I would suggest that you take that time to grow closer to whatever it is you believe in, whether it be a higher power, Heavenly Father, or the mountains and the trees outside. Whatever it is that your personal belief system is, this is your opportunity to go closer to them. And by doing so and showing that strength, you will give strength to the person who needs it most, which is either that child or that other person. So I know it's kind of a heavy subject. I always try to keep it a little light. But these are things that definitely need to be talked about in a marriage, because not everything goes perfectly, right? Man plans, God laughs. So what I want you to do is I want you to take this week to really sit down and figure out how you would react. Talk to your spouse about, maybe say, if you haven't before, talked about some deaths in the family. I got a really good glimpse of how my wife would react to that when her father passed away when we were newly married. We had just been married only about 5 years, and her father passed away. He was a great man. Passed away very suddenly through a heart attack. And to see her and her reaction, I got it. I understood how she just became strong and she became emotional when we were just together, but on the outside she became very strong and knew there were things that needed to be done to help the rest of her family out. So I got a glimpse of that. So what I want you to do is really take a quick glimpse at how you would react in that situation, and it will make a major difference. And when that situation does come up, or if you're going through it now, hopefully it'll help you get through it a lot easier. Thank you so much for your time. Sorry this one was a little bit longer. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you're doing your best to have a lot of fun in your own business of marriage.